Hello and welcome to your Week 3 preview. I know you've all been waiting anxiously to get your eyeballs on one of these videos this year. And just in luck, I got one for you. It's a little late, so we're doing this in one take. I know you're going to love it. You guys always love the one takes. We're off to a great start as a league this year, guys. I like that we have one undefeated team, we have one 0-2 team, and we have 8 1-1 teams. A lot of parity in this league. This would be the third year in a row if we have a lot of parity. The first 2 years, it was incredible. It came down to the wire each time for playoffs. Our first matchup is the defending champion, the ARG, who cannot remember to bring his championship belt to the draft. That is your one responsibility. Shame. Shame. Taking on the early leader this year, the 2-0 Flying Spaghetti Monsters in a Black Conference showdown. A win over the perennially powerful ARG would be a big morale boost for the Flying Spaghetti Monsters and give them a great start toward the playoffs. The ARG are always a tough team, though, and this year is no exception. Going 5 wide and losing almost no juice top to bottom, this has got to be the best receiving core in the league. Beckham, Hill, Sanders, A-Rob, and Landry. Wow, that is frightening to go against. Landry is possibly a wide receiver 1. I don't think he'll finish the year as a wide receiver 1, but it's possible. And that's probably his worst wide receiver. It's impressive. Congratulations, Steve. Add in Zach Ertz as one of the best tight ends in the league and a Texans defense going against the abysmal O-line of the New York Giants. And Kareem Hunt with a hot Matt Breida coming off of the Jerick McKinnon injury this year. He's off to a great start, leading the league in rushing yards. And you're looking at a whole lot of points from the ARG. Their only real weakness seems to be a QB with an injured Mariota and the so far underwhelming Jimmy G. He, unfortunately for the Flying Spaghetti Monsters, has a dream matchup against the banged-up Kansas City defense, who is currently giving up the most points in the league to opposing quarterbacks. So the ARG should be feeling good this week, but the Flying Spaghetti Monsters are 2-0 for a reason. And that reason is their stout backfield. Lining up in the 4 horsemen formation, Flying Spaghetti Monsters' formidable backfield consists of Chris Thompson, David Johnson, pleasant surprise James Conner, thank you Le'Veon Bell, and hopefully Dalvin Cook pending injury. The wide receivers looking to further develop their game are Amari Cooper and Dante Pettis. Both need a little work, one more than the other. Will be led by team captain DeAndre Hopkins, who's always good to go. And although it's harder to top the consistency of Zach Ertz at tight end, as he's probably the number 3 tight end in the league, Flying Spaghetti Monsters' new tight end this year is not one to shy away from success. Gronkowski. Back on my team. I love it. He's gonna smash this week. This is definitely the game of the week and an important one to watch. Extra tidbit at the end. This is recorded after the Thursday night game. And Tyrod, which is how you pronounce that, Taylor, put Flying Spaghetti Monsters in a giant hole Thursday night for them to work out of. I was going to predict ARG to win before this, but I'll double down on that bet this time. In our second Black Conference matchup, we have the 1-1 Robert Downey Jr. taking on 0-2 Fat Morte. No Matt Forte even on the team anymore, Craig. Come on. Off to a rough start, Fat Morte is looking for their first victory without 2 of their starting running backs in LeSean McCoy and Devonta Freeman, likely not suiting up this week. Morte will look to rookie Sony Michel to step in for a productive week against the porous run defense of the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, Robert Downey Jr. also has an injury in their backfield, with Jay Ajayi likely not being able to go on Sunday. Lamar Miller and James White will be suitable starters and will probably have a good but not great day. However, Robert Downey Jr. has a clear edge at tight end with Travis Kelce in a good matchup against the Niners this week. A surprising part of this matchup is the ragtag group of receivers that each team has put together. For the Fat Mortes, led by Larry Fitzgerald, there's one leader on each team, Their group of underdogs include John Brown, back from the sickle cell dead, Cooper Kupp, and Sterling Shepard. Robert Downey Jr. also has their leader in Keenan Allen, but is followed by a very unexpected group of wide receivers in Randall Cobb, Quincy Enunwa, Ted Ginn Jr., and Deshaun Jackson. I thought Deshaun Jackson was pure horse glue material at this point, and is right now somehow the wide receiver 3 overall in the league. That's very shocking. I would have never guessed that, ever. Cap all that off with a shootout between Brady and Mr. Harvard himself, league leader in points, Ryan Fitzpatrick, trying to rain on my Jameis Winston parade. And you've got quite an exciting match. I'm definitely leaning towards Robert Downey Jr. in this one. In our interconference matchup, we have the Snarl going against the Slaughterhouse, with both teams at 1-1. Snarl is led by one of the most dynamic running back duos of Todd Gurley and Christian McCaffrey, with strong receivers in Diggs and Hilton, plus the explosive Jacksonville Jaguars defense, who aren't off to as hot of a start as they had last year, but they have a great matchup against Tennessee this week, who may likely be led by NFL terrible Blaine Gabbert. Russell Wilson will get the start against Dallas for the Snarl, while it looks like an injury will force them to play the hot-handed tight end and Will Dissly. Across the line of scrimmage ain't no practice squad, however, with young upstart Patrick Mahomes. Sometimes I can't read my own writing. Young upstart Patrick Mahomes almost leading the league in points. He's number 2 behind Mr. Harvard. The Slaughterhouse is packed with one hot player after another. Wide receiver 1 overall in the league, Michael Thomas, is backed up by Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin, and Kenny Golladay. All young, all producing, and all looking like they're improving somehow. This could be a scary receiving core for years to come. Not quite as good as Args, but it's pretty good. I like the youth and how long they could all be together. Rounded out by a healthy Josh Reed and rookie sensation Philip Lindsay, Slaughterhouse is my pick to edge out a victory against Snarl this week. In our first gold matchup of the week, we have Resting Bitchface at 1-1 against another 1-1, Raging Hartons. For Resting Bitchface, you got Cam Newton going against Raging Hartons' Phillip Rivers in a great matchup of arm versus leg and arm. And Resting Bitchface will be starting Saquon Barkley, number 1 pick overall, who has been a success so far this year, but will be backed up by Marshawn Lynch. Really missing that Le'Veon Bell. I think that's a big sticking point for this team. Their receivers look good. I think if they put Bell back in the lineup, they're going to be one of the stronger teams in the league. But as of right now, it's going to be so-so. I see a lot of 500 records in their future without Bell. For the Hartons, however, the best running back duo in the league, Ezekiel Elliott and Alvin Kamara. Now, that would be a good matchup against Saquon Barkley and Le'Veon Bell, but against Saquon Barkley and Marshawn Lynch, it's no contest. Both receivers for each team are pretty good. However, I'd give the edge to Resting Bitchface, as they have Julio Jones and A.J. Green. They're sporting 2 duos, however, of Detroit's Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, and Atlanta's Julio Jones, as before mentioned, and Calvin Ridley this week. So a little competition in points from their quarterback, but all good receivers. For the Hartons, they have Devontae Adams, which they acquired in a trade last year, giving up Gronk, which looks to be working out for them, as Devontae is their leading wide receiver this year. Followed by Nelson Agholor, Demaryius Thomas, and Robert Woods. Also, they have Marquise Goodwin looking to return from his injury and put up some points. I didn't pick a winner for that one. I'm going to say Hartons. That Kamara-Zeke duo, that's sick. That would make me feel good about my team. And, sorry guys, I should have grabbed a drink. Lastly, we have another Gold Conference matchup between the 1-1 Steelers and the 1-1 Evans Enforcers. Big Ben is off to a good start, but will the road game curse turn into the curse still. He's averaging 30 points a game right now, but Big Ben every year has a tough matchup on the road. However, Tampa Bay's defense is not good. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think he'll have a good game, not a great game though. Looking to win big on those points though, the Steelers have the hookup of Big Ben to Antonio Brown, who surprisingly didn't get traded by the Steelers somehow this week. I don't know what they were thinking, but I think AB is going to have 100 yards and a touchdown for sure this week. Adam Thielen is really holding up as an impressive receiver year after year and boosting the overall team of the Steelers. The big question is, how will Josh Gordon addition to the Patriots affect the Patriots receivers of Chris Hogan and Philip Dorsett? Finally, the Steelers look to turn their running back luck around as AP is finally back to starting form while Dion Lewis and Corey Clement rack up enough receiving points to stay competitive. But Steelers drew a tough matchup this week in the early contenders and Evans Enforcers. Led on the field by Andrew Luck, the backfield, while banged up, isn't broken. The Evans Enforcers won't have Joe Mixon this week, but are able to plug Gio Bernard right into his spot. And they have 3 out of 4 receivers who are averaging 25 points a game. The namesake Evans Enforcers has Mike Evans, Will Fuller, and Juju Smith-Schuster putting up a combined 75 points average a game. So that's a huge boost. I think this is going to be a cruiser game for Evans Enforcers. Sorry to make it a little long, and next time I won't drink all my beer before I start doing this. I'll have it handy. Good luck, everybody, this week. I hope you have fun, and I hope I win. You're going down, Steve.